So I'm Travis Maximovic. I'm the owner, alongside with my father, of Max Fabrication. We've got Roman up here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, with Trubogger Magazine to just do a tech talk on our shop and what we do for all of our customers and even guys that aren't our customers, but they're looking for some advice. We're always looking to help anybody and everybody that we can. We've dealt with people all over North America, whether they're purchasing or, like I said, they're just inquiring about some information. When it comes to the mudding industry, I would honestly say two of the big innovators that we've talked to and dealt with would be Bobby Barta and Dan Sinclair. These two guys I love talking to because you get a lot of people that build similar trucks, similar ideas based off of one another. But these two, they go kind of above and beyond what everybody else is doing. So for our industry, I love making unique pieces that help our customers. So we have a full range of CNC equipment, from milling right up to plasma cutting. Whatever you guys can dream, we can try and help them produce and become a reality. So these guys here, again, some of the stuff you wouldn't even think would be able to be done, but conversing back and forth, we've had a lot of ideas, a lot of conversations, and it's interesting to see what they come out with. So when you see their trucks hit the mud, just know that they've got a lot of time, a lot of ideas, a lot of engineering, and they've gone well above what most people do when they slap a truck together and then they hope that it sticks together. So once again, we look to help everybody. So I've just got a few things on display just in front of our shop, just to show kind of a little bit of a range of what we can do. So we've got some custom tabs that we can do for links, ladder bars, suspension, even body tabs. Then we get into some of the more detailed CNC work with billet aluminum, some stainless, some brass. We got all kinds of stuff here. We even do some plastic, woodwork. Even when it comes to aerospace, we've got some engineering companies that deal with aerospace parts, and we actually have to get it gold plated because apparently the heat dissipates a lot quicker when it comes to gold. So they get gold plated, and then this stuff gets shipped off into outer space. So it's not just purely the mud sport industry that we're in. We cover a broad range of industries to help out with any CNC, welding, fabricating, whatever you guys can think of. Send us a quote. If we can't do it, then we'll ship it out and we'll let you guys know exactly who can help you out. So some of the stuff that we've done, once again, we've done aerospace, medical, quite a bit of military, automotive industries. I've got a buddy, Sean Getty, that's stopping by today. He's gonna take a look at getting a sled deck done for his truck. So Roman will have videos with that coming up. Again, we're quite partial to details, very tight tolerances, everything that the customer might need, might want. Let us know what you guys have in mind, and we'll see what we can do to help you out.
Hi, I'm Sean Getty from Ottawa, Canada. Built this little rig for SEMA 2016. Took it down there after 11 months of a solid build. Dropped a 1950 Mercury M47 truck body and a lot of his guts onto a SRT-10 Viper. Some modifications needed to be done to the chassis with that, but mostly getting everything to fit, work right, look good, and do everything modern. A lot of measurements, a lot of time taken because I wanted to go down to Las Vegas with putting my best foot forward. I have a lot of subtle Canadian touches, like the penny bed in the floor of the truck, which was I hand laid 25 hours, did that. Put the floor epoxy over it. It was a huge hit. Tim Hortons coffee cup was another big attraction down in the Vegas. Every Canadian, I think, came to that thing like a homing beacon. Truck drives well. It does massive burnouts. I have little features all over the truck. I wanted to put about 25 things that were hidden in there. Everything from little tail lights, turn signals hidden, the fuel cap off a 737 jet airplane that hides the trailer wiring in the back. We got switches everywhere. We have modern telemetry in there. We have old stuff. OBD2. The vehicle's got air conditioning, cruise control. It's got the wow factor. It doesn't really matter what age you are, man or woman, but everybody gets drawn to this thing. You could park this thing up beside a Lambo and it gets the looks for sure. Some of the stuff I got from the supplier that was helping me down in the States there, we have a 6-horn horn blaster system. It's called the Nightmare. We kind of upgraded the Nightmare system. We set it on full kill. 6 train horns, 1 tugboat horn. The lines you see in the back here are for a bleaching system. When I'm doing a burnout and I really want to pour the big smoke to it, I just hit a switch inside and we pour the big coal to it. The 2 exhaust systems on the truck, one is the quiet one, or the loud one that blows the smoke away from me when I'm doing the big burnouts. Left all the truck's patina is natural, nothing's forced. The only paint on the truck was my shop logo door. Shop logo I had put on the doors by a veteran pinstriper. Some of the stuff, put some turn signals in there. Original Mercury tailgate, which is very hard to find. We have the gas cap from a 737 that covers up my trailer wiring. I just kind of deconstructed it and used the nice metal pieces for it. Reverse light works, everything's functional on the truck. If you want to get a good look at the gas station, you just pull off your Coke cooler. This is my tray, and inside we have the fuel fill, the bleach can, the air pump for the train horns, and the tank. That is the Tim Hortons coffee cup that I hid a pressure switch in, wired it through the tongue of it. It needed something decorative because it's a very ugly pressure switch sitting there. Of course, went with something simple with a 4-inch roll bar that secures my 5-point harnesses. Cut through the cab. Travis made me up some nice pass-throughs for the belts. I came up with this little locking system, fully functional. Some old latches, some functioning padlocks that I'm sure you could open with a sharp stick, but at least it's a lock. Inside we have, kind of appealing to all the genres, I put a drifter style handbrake in there, fully functional. I call it the holy shit handle. We have this tin can, this cola can was found in the truck in the front end, and I believe it is a Saskatchewan thing because I've never heard of co-op cola, but I put the SRT-10 oil temperature gauge in there. Quick disconnect steering wheel, just because I could, I guess. All new glass done by Dan and a Speedy Auto Glass in Rockland. Cut an ammo can in half up there. Put on some of my switches, my start switches. my line lock, my compressor for my air horns. The Viper pedals are in the truck, fully adjustable. They're all in electronics. And we capped off the floor with some of the useless 1950 license plates that we couldn't tag anymore. The truck does come with a set of real 1950 Ontario license plates that I legally tagged to the vehicle. 5-point Corbeau racing harness, so if you really want to strap in, one of the first events this truck ever did was an event called Race the Runway, and I mixed it up with a bunch of exotics, and it looked like a lot of Italian, German sports cars, and then this big old ugly Merc in the middle, and I was flying down the runway in the rain. We did 188 kilometers an hour that day through the timing lights, spinning the whole way, of course, because I don't know, the event was run in the rain, but that's enough excuses. But she just, it was a hairy ride, the shifting each way. Yeah, built it, like I said, took her right down to, I trailered it down to Las Vegas for 2016 SEMA. I was a builder for the show, and got an amazing response. I've been there every year for SEMA, but this is the first year for a build.
Good project, just to show kind of our experience and everything like that. At one of the previous shops that we were both actually working at, I just started out in the industry, but my dad was one of the head guys for the CNC machining department of a local company, and he actually had the ability to, on a 3-axis mill also, machine a titanium human heart. So we've got a drawing that's kind of left over. This was about 15 years ago, just prior to us actually opening up our own shop. But we've got one of the little castings that was left over, and it was quite the project. Very, very hard as it came out of the casting molds. These templates or these pieces were actually all warped, and everything was all over the place. So even though we've got drawings that we've got to go by, sometimes the drawings don't match the material, the castings, whatever we get. So for everybody that's out there that thinks it's as easy as slapping it on a machine and the machine does all the work, there's actually quite a bit of work that goes into any type of machining, engineering, designs, anything like that. The measuring process, some people just assume that it comes off the machine, you're done.
But some want a physical measurement.
Some require that.
So what you do is you'll take a drawing and you'll number the drawing. So every feature that's on there, you'll number it. Mm-hmm. And then after you've numbered it, you actually have to put whatever value you get, whatever they're looking for. So let's say the piece is 1/2 inch. You have to measure it. What was the value that you got, right? So because we work in decimals, right? 1/2 inch is 0.5, right? It might be 0.505, 503. They want you to physically write down what your findings were. Right. So it all depends on who the customer is and what their requirements are.
Their application of it and use.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is very unique. Can you tell me a little bit about these controls?
Yeah.
What it takes to kind of operate the whole setup?
So when it comes to the CNC control panels, most of them are generally the same. Fanuc is one of the larger companies. You see a lot of them on the CNCs. This is a little bit of an older unit. We got a newer one down at the end there. But generally they're all the same. You got your start and stop. You got feeds. Obviously an emergency stop, just in case like you misplace a decimal place and you can crash the machine very easily. They've all got a different mode select. So you can go starting up a machine. You want a home position. So what it does is, however the machine is left the day before, you bring it back to a 0 position, so your home position. This tells the computer that it's at home, it's found at 0, 0. So when you're doing precise work and you're into 3 or 4 decimal places, it's got to base everything off of that home position, that 0, 0. So every morning we come in, we start our machines, we send them home, and we start with a warm-up program just to make sure all the fluids are going, all the motors are good, everything's warmed up. And then from there, we can come into our computer screen and we can actually upload different programs, whatever the customer requires. And in our edit mode, we can come in, and now we've got our M and our G code. So this is what actually constructs whatever the product is that we're doing. So we've got line after line after line of code. Not the easiest to read, but being in the industry, we know how we can read this just by looking at it, where some people, they need a computer, they need everything like that, just to understand what the code is, where myself, I've got about 12 to 15 years of experience in this industry. My dad's well over 30 years and has constructed almost anything you can think of. So we can simply look at this, look at the machine, see basically where our values are going to be and what we're constructing. At the same time, as I mentioned before, having a decimal place in the wrong position could crash the machine. So even just doing a quick glance through our G and M code, we can actually take a look quickly to see if it's doing a proper circle or drilling a proper hole or dwelling or a peck cycle for drilling, tapping. There's so many different features when it comes to CNC machining and the programming side of things that unless you got really good software, it's easy to screw this stuff up. So with the expense of these machines and what it takes to maintain them, we try to minimize any type of crashing or any tool breaking or anything like that. So for the few minutes that it might take us to come through and read over our program, it's reassurance for us, and it saves the machine from crashing. Just some of the basic tooling that we use for some of our CNC equipment. We've got various end mills, taps, drills, ball nose. We've even got some hole saws, a little bit of everything that allows us to build all these custom pieces. This is a very basic part. There's really not much to it. We've got, where do I start here now? So for instance, we've got a 1-inch end mill 4-flute. So we tend to keep some of our stuff for finishing. Just visually, you can see the flutes are all nice and sharp, everything like that. So we'd keep this guy as a finish. But we also have roughing end mills that come in and just hog away the material.
How much is something like that, like one of those costs?
It all depends. For these are just high-speed steel. You're probably looking at it a couple $100.
A couple of $100 times a couple of 100,000 of them?
There's a lot of them. And then once again, we've got all different styles of tooling here. So we got face mills. So you want that nice clean finish on top. You can get face mills, different sizes, different inserts. So you got some for aluminum. You can get inserts for steel, hardened steel, all different types. So these guys are great for ripping away material. This is one of the tools that we use more than anything. So with this here, this is just an edge finder. So when we're setting up, this little guy here will rotate and it'll actually sit there spinning. So it's offset as it spins. You touch the material and it will actually tell you where center is. This little piece here is 200 thou. So obviously half of that is 100 thou. So when we're setting up material on our CNCs, we know that we touch off the edge of our material, we're 100 thou away. And once again, with the decimal places and the zeros, everything like that, we can come in, let the computer know that this is where our material is, At that point, it's just to hit the button and let the machine do the rest. Here we have our Mandrel tube bender. It's an old gem. I'm looking to upgrade it. We can do it all in-house, but right now we've got dies up to 2.5 inch, and I do have a piece up front that can actually show the difference between your regular rotary bend, a tube bender, everything like that, in comparison to a mandrel bender. So with the mandrel, you actually have a piece inside the tube to keep the proper form. So you keep all the strength and structure when doing a proper mandrel tube bend, as opposed to crushing it or grabbing it and then stretching it. So with this guy here, we've done a lot of work for frames. We've done a few chassis. Again, even with Sean coming by, it maxed out what we could do on this thing, but we managed to help him out, and he was beyond happy with the work that we did for him. There's really nobody in the area that would actually bend it for him, so we managed to put it together. It took a lot to get it done, but I made some custom dies. I did everything that I could to help the customer out, and in the end, he was happy with the product, so that makes us happy. So this is the piece that I was talking about with the Mandrel tube bender. So when I set up the bender, I didn't use the mandrel on this bend here. So I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but on this backside here, it's almost crushed. So with the bender, what it did was it grabbed on and stretched the material coming across. So you actually have a little bit of a dimple on the inside, but this backside has got a flat spot on it. You're taking away from the integrity, everything like that. It's still a good bend, it's still strong, don't get me wrong. It'll work for the application that it was needed for. But when you add the mandrel to the inside of it, you've got a nice smooth curve now. You've kept your radius, your strength is all there throughout the entire bend. So with the bender that we've got, it allows for us to keep nice tight edges or radius, as well as keeping the strength and the integrity of the material itself, instead of crushing it and ending up with a bend like that. All right, so back in the back half of the shop, and please pay no attention to the mess that we've got in here. We literally spend almost 15 hours a day here, a good 6 days a week. So things are a bit messy in here, but in the back section here is kind of all of our manual equipment. So we have a surface grinder for when it comes down to sharp edges, blades, everything like that. We can even get a nice finish off of this here. So this is good for the very precise work that actually it requires grinding. Next to it, we just have our small tool room lathe. This thing we've had since we started the shop. We've put so many hours on this thing. It does require a little maintenance, but we've kept tolerances within 1,000, so obviously better than probably most shops that have used a piece of equipment for 12, 15 years. So one day we'll upgrade, but for now, this is what's doing great for us. To the right, we have 2 manual mills. So our first one here, we usually just keep the tapping heads on it, and we tap offline. So we do a lot of rigid tapping and everything on the CNCs when we can, but when we get large quantities, it's almost quicker and easier for us to have somebody over here running the tapping heads, which is simply an up-down motion. So you get your RPM set and you're good to go. And then on our second one here, our second mill, this is a Topwell. For anybody that's in the industry, Topwell is a very great brand. And this thing just hogs out material all day long, no problem. Drilling 2-inch steel plates, everything like that. So this guy here is great, it's precise. We have digital readout to make sure that, once again, our decimal places, we're bang on, we're spot on. This guy has seen a lot of action in the few years that we've, well, actually about the 10 years that we've owned it. So all of our manual equipment, Doesn't get used as much as the CNC stuff, but when it does, very reliable and quick.
Material like this little bad boy over here shows up at our shop as a raw stock like this out of that. So we'll get a 12-footer in here depending on what's required. The billet itself starts out probably about $600 when it comes in a 12-foot length, and that's American, by the way. Add a few thousand on there by the time we convert it back into Canadian, and we're good to go.
Very unique. What is this piece that you hold in your hands? What is it for?
It's actually a simple cover. Well, it's a cover, but actually what it is, it's for barcoding. Actually, by the time they'll put a little camera lens in here, and what it is, it's for high-speed barcoding. So all the barcodes will come by and it'll calculate whatever number, whatever package, so everybody knows the date, where it came from, who did it. Completed and painted, and once again, we can send it out for paint, we can send it out for whatever you want. Some people just want a black anodize on it, right? Usually what we'll do is we'll put a clear iridite on it, right? And the clear will keep it from oxidizing, right? So you always need some sort of a finish on aluminum, right? You can't just leave raw aluminum, right? Because if you ever noticed, like on your vehicles, you can see like that gritty powder, but it'll eat away at it. So that's basically oxidization, right? We'll get that one right. But we need some sort of covering. So even on this one here, it's a clear iridite, right? But yeah, so you can anodize it, you can paint it, you can do whatever you want, but at least it won't oxidize on you. So that's kind of the key for that one. Two other ones in here, and we have a red anodize. We have a red anodize, and where is the gold? Oh, and then we have a gold-plated one. So this is actually from a satellite company. This is from another company that I used to work for that we wound up making some satellite parts for. So gold, red, paint.
All the options you want.
That's right. Well, you know, when it comes to materials, it all depends on what the customer wants, you know, whether it's a bezel made from Delrin. So because the Delrin's soft, and then by the time you start doing some of the faces, you actually need a little support in there so you don't squeeze it, so you keep the dimensions at the correct size.
There's definitely a lot of pride and hard work in these little details.
There is. There really is.
I mean, 30-year commitment, you said, right?
Yep.
That speaks a lot.
Well, actually, it's more than 30 years. It's actually 40 years.
And then you got to teach that guy behind me, huh?
That's right. That's right.
Somebody's got to take over. That's awesome.
At Max Fabrication, we also offer a variety of welding options as well, from TIG, MIG, stick. We do plasma cutting. We have a plasma table. Once again, with the TIG, and I wish that we had some parts available that we can do for the audience. But these were actually most recent, what we did for the TIG welding. Aluminum, love TIG welding aluminum. These ones here, they were simply brazed. So you can see how nice and clean the TIG welding is compared to some of the MIG welding and everything like that, when it comes to aluminum at least. So again, offering all kinds of welding. We even have mobile service if that's required. So you might see us at some of the mud bogs, and we'll do what we can to help any customer out. About a little over a year ago, we moved our shop from the country into the city of Ottawa. We got about 850 extra square feet. We needed it because we were kind of on top of each other whenever it came to the machining, fabricating, welding side of things. So we came to Ottawa, got a shop that's just shy of 3,000 square feet, and within 8 months, my dad bought another CNC mill. I ended up buying a CNC plasma table, a hoist, and now we've got our storefront, I should say, that has all of our products, everything like that, and we've maxed out this shop. So what we've got here now is a thermodynamics plasma table. So with CNC being our background, I've been able to tweak it, change a few things here and there, so I get some really precise cuts, everything like that out of the material. We're able to cut up to 1.5 inch plate with the system that we purchased as well. So currently it's got a 4x4 table, but we're looking to expand and go to a 5x10. Seems like we're getting a lot of customer requests for this, so in a short period of time, this thing will actually grow to be bigger. So this is just a great base to start with. But on top of the plasma, we actually have one of our local shops. They'll actually do water jet for us. So if you've got thicker material, actually any type of material with water jet except for tempered glass, they'll be able to cut it for you. So for us, we stick to the metals. So we do all sorts of aluminum, stainless, and mild steel on this guy here. Works great for what we do for our customers. But if you need that extra little bit, once again, we'll point you guys in the right direction. So for anybody looking for Max Fabrication, Google is a great tool. But if you don't have Google or anything like that, we've got business cards. You can find us all over the place. We haven't really done much advertising. Roman and Trubogger is actually the first company to come and actually do a little video, talk to us, see what we do, so then we can pass it on to the customers. Well, we're located in Ottawa, Ontario. That's up in Canada. And our phone number is 613-745-2458. You can also email us. So if you got any questions, a drawing, a design, an idea, let us know. You can hit us up at Max Machining. That's MAKS Machining at outlook.com. Be prepared that it might be a day or two that we get back to you. Again, it's just the two of us in here. We're beyond swamped with work, but we always try to get back to our customers. Again, whether it's a question, concern, or a drawing, we'll try our best to get back to you as soon as we can. We also do have a website. It makes life so much easier. You can get a lot of information off of it as well. It's Max Fabrication, once again, MAKS, maxfabrication.ca.